Welcome to Scorpio Soul Time. I'm Ronique and I appreciate you joining me here. This is my esoteric journey where I'm consistently learning progress over perfection. I use the energies that are going on in our world to not only feel what is going on with the collective, but also energies that we can use to make ourselves feel better as we navigate through the energies. So today is actually March 27th, 2020, and we are very much in this new moon in Aries energy, but I thought I would start a new series here on Scorpio Soul Time where I concentrate more on healing. Healing can be anything from our financial world and how we feel like we are doing with our work, our career, but it can also deal with emotional energy, how we can make ourselves feel better, especially with all of the health crises that's going on in the pandemic with the coronavirus. I thought that it would be a really nice way to figure out how can we use these energies to heal ourselves. And I think today, since the moon is actually in Taurus today, and also the sun is in Aries, and then Venus is also in Taurus, and Uranus is also in Taurus. So it's this really strong energy around how do we feel stable. And Taurus is, the sign of the bull, and it is very much grounding us. It's an earth energy, and it's this, how can we make ourselves feel vibrant and strong in this energy around our work, our career, our stability going forward. Like, how can we just feel more emotionally secure? And so I think that what I'm going to do is, when I'm not doing the lunation cycles, which are usually every 2 weeks, I'm going to start doing these healing videos, because I think that personally I need them and I do them on my own. So I figured, why don't I just share it also with you all? But I also thought it would be a good way to be able to tap into the collective energy of what we need at this time. So I actually pulled, today I'm actually using, this is called the, let me see, so I'm actually using the Sacred Geometry Oracle cards today, and these have to do with activations that we can all do. And so I had the heart chakra one here, which is this number 4. Let me see if you can see that. And that was one that I pulled because I feel like right now the collective really needs to focus on our heart chakra, because the heart chakra is that chakra that's deep in our chest that will help us connect with each other. I think right now more than ever, we all need to collectively have a feeling of being secure in ourselves. And on here it says the frequency of the heart chakra, the green flower of life, supports our capacity to love deeply and unconditionally. Its healing properties harmonize the mind and the body. And I thought that was really fitting for where we are at, because we really all need to understand that regardless of where the virus came from, or I've heard a lot of things, especially on social media, about, well, it came from China, or it came from Asia, and it came from, and there definitely is this sense of like scrutiny, right? And we're trying to blame someone. And I think that's just a human characteristic, that anytime things go wrong, we want to point blame. And I think this heart chakra card is reminding us that there is no blame when it comes to healing. And I think that right now the earth and the collective needs healing. And I think that the heart chakra is one that we all need to focus in on our own energy and figure out how is it that we can not only heal ourselves, heal our neighbors, heal our friends, heal our enemies. Because right now it's just like this there's this decisive energy where it's kind of like we want to pin the blame on someone. And I think that the heart chakra is one that if we all figure out how we can connect to ourselves, we will as a whole be able to deal with this virus, deal with the pandemic, deal with the economic crisis that is undoubtedly already occurring with people losing their jobs. You know, everyone is living in this new way of like, how do we feel secure? Are we going to have a job? Even if you do have a job, many people are concerned that, you know, even if I'm working from home, you know, I don't feel like this is a secure world that I'm living in. So I thought today we would also pull a sacred wealth code card, and that is here. So your secret wealth code oracle cards are all about how you feel secure, but you also how you make money and how we can as a collective feel better about moving forward. So let's shuffle those cards and see what we have here for the oracle cards. And I want you to think through in your own life, where is it that you're not feeling secure? Where is it that you're concerned about? It can be money. It can be maybe you're a college student and you're concerned about going back to school. I know my son is in college and all of their, thankfully the college is still open, but they are doing all online classes and he doesn't really love that. So, you know, you might not feel secure in what you're doing from a day-to-day standpoint. It could also just be, you know, all of us are spending more time at home, right? So where is it that you don't feel like you have control over the things in your life? It can be, you know, Taurus is all about this energy of what is around you, your possessions. Maybe you're feeling like you don't know if you're going to be able to pay, you know, your bills. I know a lot of cities and municipalities are trying to waive late fees, and they're trying to help out, you know, those that are being affected financially. So think through what you're concerned about, and let's pull an oracle card and see what energies are here for us. All right, so the card that shows up is the Merchant. And it says, and it's actually ruled by Mercury. And isn't that interesting that the tree has all that money on it? So that is a really good sign for all of us, because this is like showing us like, you know what, we have this, we are going to make this work. And it says opportunities to prosper are everywhere. Logical, discerning, flexible, financial, psychological, creative, communicative, social, brilliant, quick, evaluative, technical, and inventive. So I really like that, because it's almost like the universe is telling us, even though things look bad right now, even though there are this feeling of how are we going to make it to this next step, this Merchant card with this tree with all this money is showing that there's plenty of abundance for everyone. And one thing that I've been finding is that anytime there is a crisis, especially around money and economics, there always are ways to prosper, even though we are in this energy of like, what do we do next? For example, if you've noticed all of the different restaurants, especially here in Jacksonville, we cannot go in and just sit down and eat. You have to either do takeout or delivery. So if you are someone who has lost their job, you are concerned about how you're going to make some money, maybe for the time being you can become a driver for one of the food restaurants, Grubhub, Uber Eats, DoorDash. All of these people, or all of these, what am I trying to say, delivery type companies, they really are thriving right now because we're moving to this economic system right now where the entrepreneur, those who can figure out how to make money in a crisis, are going to profit the most. So if you used to be a waitress, if you used to be someone who worked at, you know, a restaurant that has closed down, or you've been in an industry, especially a lot of these service industries, like I know like hairdressers and nail technicians and people who made their living out of serving people, they're now without a job because people are spending more time at home. So think through where it is in your world that you can profit, and not in a negative way, but profit off of where people are spending money. Amazon is another one. If you are a driver, maybe you can, you know, go and see if there's any jobs with Amazon as being a driver or someone who can. I'm really hearing that there's so many opportunities, because right here it says opportunities to prosper are everywhere. And that really is what we need to focus on. Like, the prosperity is there, but we all have to tap into it. And even though you may feel like you don't know how this is going to work, I promise you there are opportunities that are waiting for all of us. And so I think that we also need to remember Taurus is this energy of stability, and anytime that you're not feeling stable, that also has to do with how we can go inside ourselves. It's not always just the external world, but it's also the internal world. So I want us to figure out how we can take this energy and feel stronger about ourselves, but also how is it that we can empower ourselves. So I'm also going to do a tarot spread today using the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit Guidebook. And we've used it before, but we're going to do a past, present, and future, but with animal spirits, because the animal totems right now, I feel like, are very connected to the earth energy and Taurus. And so, like I said, I want us, before we do the tarot, I'm going to also do our singing bowl to clear our energies, and then we will get into the tarot. So many people have asked about the singing bowl. And so my singing bowl is like it's copper, and it's one of these kind of like hammered ones. And everyone has different ones that they use, but I like this one because it's copper and it feels like very tactile. And I also have this wooden mallet. You see these rings around here is what makes the frequency sound. And once you hear that, you're supposed to close your eyes, breathe in and breathe out to be able to clear your energies so all of the information can come in clearer. So I'm sure you can see my little thing here that has nothing but cat fur on it, so sorry about that. But let's clear our energy. So I want you to breathe in and breathe out as you hear the tone. So first we will start off. Okay, so we'll move that off our board here. So what I want you to do is I want you to think through where you are feeling stuck, where you are feeling like you need messages from your higher guides, your spirits, your passed on loved ones? Where is it that you feel like you could use some energetic lift in your financial world, in your spiritual world? But how is it that you can take the energies that you're feeling and transmute them into positive economic abundance? Because I think right now, for many of us, we are feeling lost, we are feeling unsure, and we are not feeling stable. And that Taurus energy wants us to feel stable. And especially Venus is also in Taurus. So it's like there is this strong push towards feeling secure, feeling stable, wanting our physical world around us to feel that same stability, but most of us don't feel it right now, right? And so I think that's why I really was called to do this healing energy and try to connect with this Taurus energy that's going on right now. So I'm going to pull a past, present, and future animal spirit guide card. And remember, the two oracles between the heart chakra and the merchant saying opportunities to prosper are everywhere. I want you to use that energy to tap into. When you, even after you get off of this, from watching this video, I want you to remember using your heart chakra to connect to the divine, but also using your heart chakra to heal yourself, heal your family, be able to, those of you who have jobs, being able to feel thankful and gratitude that you have a job. Those of you who have lost jobs or concerned that you will, being able to motivate yourself to maybe look for opportunities that you didn't think of before. Okay. All right. Let's cut the deck. Okay, so we have Sea Serpent. We have the Elk card. And we have the Hawk. All right. Okay, so in the past, we have Sea Serpent. And the Sea Serpent is actually a spirit card. And you can see here, there's almost this eye being created, and there's this serpentine energy coming from here. And what I also like is that there's almost this healing quality of the blue, where it's almost like this watery feeling energy, but also air energy of moving past anything that may be weighing you down. So I'm going to take and I'm going to look in our book and see what the Sea Serpent says. So the Sea Serpent here in this book says healing emotional wounds and expressing desires. So let's read on what the Sea Serpent stands for. All right, so the Sea Serpent represents the energy of expression, whether it's emotions, creativity, sensuality, or desire. The Sea Serpent helps us move and direct our energy into a healthy current. When the essence of this card is in balance, we express ourselves creatively and sexually without fear or shame. We know what we desire most. Our hearts are at ease and our relationships are meaningful and enduring. We loosen the grip of self-judgment and we let the cool waters of forgiveness in to heal our wounds. So I think that, like I was saying, there's that healing energy of the Sea Serpent, but it also has to do with this energy of being able to feel and see what you can't necessarily see with your eyes, but you can see with your mind. You can feel that spiritual energy. And so I think that the Sea Serpent in the past position is saying, when things were good, when there was this financial abundance, you know, just 2-3 months ago, when we were feeling confident about starting 2020, when we were all had this like gung-ho energy, tap into that from the past. Use your eye to be able to figure out, where can I tap into that past energy where I was feeling better, I was feeling more emotionally secure. The sea serpent is saying, don't let the present conditions shape your future. Remember, this too shall pass. So do not focus on just this energy of, I'm in this mode, I don't know how I'm going to get past it. This energy right here, especially the circle, like you can see there's this radiating energy and this totality of like, yeah, you may be stuck, you may be up here, but everything that goes around comes around. We are not going to be stuck in this place forever. So this sea serpent is really saying, tap into that elixir that's in your mind, that is in your soul from the past, when you were feeling more confident, that we are going to be able to move through this energy and that this will not last forever. Okay? So that's, I really like that that spirit is in the past, kind of like bringing us from this place of like, don't get sucked into the present. There is, you know, this better energy to move forward to. All right, so in the present, we have the elk. And the elk energy is one, I think it's interesting that we have this moon right here, because remember, we just came through this new moon in Aries. So there's this kind of sense of like starting anew, starting this new beginning. And I think that this being this fiery, but you can't see it, right? It's like the dark moon is kind of like this energy of like, what do you want to step into? What do you want to embark on? So let me find where the elk is. And the elk is energy of the earth. And so I think that that is very fitting, as I was saying, with Taurus, because like I said, Taurus is definitely a earth sign, and we are focusing more on the stability, feeling like we have some control, looking around us at our possessions, our home, our career. So the elk energy in the present is, I think, is very positive in terms of being able to tap into what is it that we need stability and we need more information about. So let me find the elk. Okay, so the elk says, and I'll show it to you in the book. Sometimes people like to see where it is in the book. I feel like that kind of helps me too. So the elk is stable, resilient, headstrong, the father. And I think it's interesting that we got the elk, because the elk almost symbolizes to me the bull, which is Taurus, right? If you think of an elk, very similar to a bull in terms of like its horns, very stable. So it says the great elk represents the earth element in its masculine form. This means it provides underlying support and stability amidst life's many changes. An elk personality, whether male or female, is fully established in themselves and knows their core values. They become known and respected for acting in ways that uphold those values. Sometimes the elk's ego can become inflated, but for the most part, they make good fathers, mothers, lovers, and friends. The world needs more elk energy. And when it's in balance, you're supportive, kind, and consistent. And when out of balance, you're pretentious, high, and mighty. To bring into balance, eat and drink more consciously. So with that said, I think the elk energy is really supportive of us being able to tap into this energy of like, how do we feel more confident with ourselves, more stable, more resilient, And how do we use this Taurus energy right now to look for opportunities, look for ways to be more stable? I have a girlfriend who actually said many of her girlfriends have started tutoring from home, because now that we're all, now that the education system has had to come into our homes, and like my daughter is doing virtual school, and here in Jacksonville, Duval County schools are doing home, they're calling it Duval homeroom, but basically it is them all getting on the computers from 8 to 2 and doing schooling from home. And I think that, while it seems negative, there is a positivity to being able to tap into this technology and this world that we live in, that we don't have to go to a physical place to get education. And my girlfriends were saying many of the students now are having problems or having troubles being able to adapt, and so they are, to get some extra money, they're actually tutoring. They're actually helping those kids that are having problems online, or they're helping the parents understand that. That's another thing. Like, we're all assuming most of the kids know how to use the internet, and they know how to navigate through all of the different technology, but some grandparents are having to raise their children. And so I think that this Elk energy is very indicative of the times. I think the universe is asking us to be strong, be resilient, know how to bob and weave and ebb and flow with these changing times. And I think that this new moon in Aries that we are under right now, there's this sense of like, things have to change. Things cannot stay the same. And even though things look really grim right now from a work and economic standpoint, we're going to get through this. In the Depression, they had to get through it. Yeah, there's things that go wrong. There are, unfortunately, there's fatalities and there's this doom and gloom, but there's also bright sides. I mean, I think that we're all connecting more. We're all calling each other. We're all doing these things. Like, I've talked to some friends over the past few weeks from across the seas. Like, I had a friend write me from the Philippines. I had a friend write me from Greece. Like, I've had so many reconnections in this pandemic that I think that, yes, there is this sense of like, what do we do next? But there's also this strong stability that I think is the undercurrent. I think that we're building systems that we don't realize are gonna come through. And just like the oracle card that said opportunities to prosper are everywhere, I totally believe that. I do believe that all of this is going to have a higher purpose that we just don't see yet. So I really appreciate that Elk energy in this present, because I think it definitely leads to that we can do this, stay resilient, stay strong, we can do this. So I'm loving that. All right, so in the future, we have the hawk. And the hawk energy is air energy. And we can see that there's this expansive color behind him, and he's flying towards like the unknown. And I think that like he's almost like leaving the dark and the past behind him, and he's flying towards this brightness. He's flying towards this goal. And I think that in the future, we need that. We need to feel comfortable that the darkness is in the past and we are flying towards this energy of abundance, newness, and almost like this lighter feeling. This feels like very heavy, dark past, almost all of this energy of not knowing what's going to happen. This feels lighter. It feels like the future is just in our grasp to me. So let's look at where the hawk is in this book, and let's see. So like I said, the hawk is air energy. And the hawk is right before the eagle, which means that is very, very positive. All right, so the hawk says, watchful, all-seeing messenger of divinity. All right, so let's read what the hawk says. The sharp eyes of the hawk watch our every move. This keen-eyed bird has the ability to see every little detail as well as the bigger picture. When this card appears, fate has its eyes on you and the winds are shifting. It is said that the hawk carries news upon its wings and is sent from divinity itself to deliver it. The message should not be taken lightly. Though it may seem small or insignificant, it will eventually redirect your course. When in balance, you see clearly and you're intuitive. When out of balance, you see too much and you're suspicious. To bring into balance, have a perspective shift. And that's exactly what I was saying with the future. I think that we all have to change our perception of this pandemic. Yes, it is very hard for many of us, and I feel that we are all going through this together. But I also feel like once we get through this, it's almost going to be like this badge of courage for us all to say, you know what, during those hard times, we were able to pull through. Our family got closer. I connected with people that I didn't know I would even connect with. I found a new job. I found a new way to do my job at home that I didn't know could even be a reality. I think this hawk is saying, you know what? There's messages coming through for the collective. There's messages coming through to our government. I mean, let's be honest. Our government has never seen this before. They've never had to deal with a pandemic on such a large scale. You know, they've never had to deal with an economic crisis with so many people losing their jobs, people not buying, you know, as many things as they were doing before. People aren't out getting entertained. Like, the money is not flowing. So I think that this hawk in the future is a very positive sign, saying in these months, we're gonna have to figure out how do we use the resources around us that maybe we didn't know we had. Use the, you know, we're gonna have to also go inward. I think that's another thing that sometimes we all forget, is that we all have this ability to be a lot stronger than we give ourselves credit for. It's no different than when you have a sick family member and you're seeing them ailing and you have to kind of like save face and come to them with all of this abundant energy of like, you're gonna pull through, you know, let's think of the positive things that, you know, we've done in the past. Let's only focus on the positive. And then as they slowly start getting better, they get better because they see your energy, they see your light. And so I think in this time of despair, this Taurus energy is really showing us that opportunities to prosper are everywhere. If we use our heart chakra and use really all of our senses to not only be more resilient, but also to look for people, look for opportunities, look for energies that you can tap into to bring yourself into this higher place in the future. Like, this hawk is flying towards stability. This hawk is flying towards a brightness, a airiness, a more secure future. But we're going to have to look for new opportunities and new ways to make money, new ways to educate our children, new ways to make ourselves feel empowered. So I hope that this was a really helpful reading for you. I think that we all are in, we're all in this together. And I think as we use this energy, I want you all to meditate just a few minutes in the morning or whenever is a good time that you can just clear your energy. Just sit in silence for a few minutes and just hear what voices are going through your head. If it's when you take a shower, take a bath, use this time to really do some self-care. Get out and walk. I mean, a lot of our parks have been closed, unfortunately, just because there's been too many people, congregating, but you can still get out and walk on the sidewalk, walk around your neighborhood, walk in an area that has some fresh air. If there is a way for you to ride your bike, spend some more time with your children, do things that are going to help you have self-care, because right now that's what our collective needs. Like, we can't only focus on the negative. The more negative you focus on, the more negative we will get. So we're going to have to do this for ourselves, our family, our friends. Help all of us like heal by radiating more positive energy. All right, you all, thank you so much for joining me on Scorpio Soul Time. Feel free to reach out to me with any comments or questions. If you haven't subscribed already, I would appreciate if you'd hit the bell, and I will see you next time on Scorpio Soul Time. Bye.